Hey guys. So, this one's gonna be a little bit different than normal. If you were gone on last Friday, the 19th, I'm actually just gonna go through the bell work because that's what we did on that day. You should get the key for the front page of this copied as well, but this bell work I would definitely maybe put on some other extra sheet of paper so you have a few problems, but this is not on a printed notes page, just so you know. We did an activity in class, so that's what the key is for, and it's got the 4 parallelogram properties that are the first part of this. And then I'm going to go over a couple of these, and the back side was the assignment, so please make sure you get that done. 4 parallelogram properties. Parallelograms kind of look like this guy. They're called parallelograms because they have 2 sets of parallel sides, so that's 1 set, and that's 2. They have a couple properties that are important. One is that the opposite angles are congruent or equal to each other. Also, the opposite sides are congruent. So that means these green ones are equal to each other and these red ones are equal to each other. And when I say opposite angles, I'm talking about this one, and then these are equal as well. So things diagonal from each other. There's also a property that says that the diagonals, which are the lines that would cut through the middle of the parallelogram, they look like this and this. The diagonals bisect each other, which means they cut each other in half. So that spot where the diagonals cross is the halfway point of each of them. So this part is half, and this is half, this is half, and this is half. So the halves are equal to each other. The fourth one is that consecutive angles, in other words, the angles that are not diagonal from each other, the ones that are kind of close to each other, like these, those 2 right there that I'm circling, they are not congruent, but they are supplementary, which means they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so these 4 characteristics are super important. They're used a lot with parallelograms, and they're what we're going to use down here. Now, number 1, look at what we've got there. We've got 88 and 23x. Those are angles, so let's look at our angle properties. We know that opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary, which again means they add to 180. Okay, well, are these diagonal from each other, or are they kind of on the same line? Well, they're on the same line, which means they're consecutive. So this is property number 4 that we're looking at. Well, if they're consecutive, that means they have to add up to 180 degrees. That means 23x added with 88 has to equal 180. That's how I set up my problem. From there, it's just basic algebra. I got to get 88 to the other side, so move that guy over. Oops, 23. Sorry, that got a little sloppy. So 23x is now equal to 92. Divide by 23 to get x by itself, and we get that x is equal to 4. And again, it all started with just realizing that these are consecutive angles. We know that consecutive angles in parallelograms, consecutive means next to, or on the same line, or adjacent. Any of those words are replaceable. They have to add to 180 degrees. Now the second one, we're looking at MQ and SQ. Well, those are part of the diagonal. Well, the property about diagonals is number 3, and that says that the diagonals bisect each other or cut each other in half, which means the middle point inside the parallelogram right here is the midpoint of this whole thing because it cuts it in half. Well, if I'm going to use SQ, which is 11x plus 55, oops, sorry, yeah. SQ is this whole thing, my bad. So SQ is this big purple line. So I'm going to change the color of that just to make that a little bit more clear. So SQ is the whole diagonal. I only know MQ, which is 19. So I have 11x plus 5. Well, does that mean that MQ, 11x plus 5, equals 19? No. 19 is this. I need to set it equal to the entire thing. Well, if 19 is half, that means that SM is also 19, which means if I double 19, I'm going to get what SQ would be equal to. Okay, so that means that I have 11x plus 5 equals 38. 11x plus 5 equals 38. I want to get x by itself, so subtract 5. And I have 11x equals 33. Divide both sides by 11. Sorry, it's getting a little cramped in there. And I have x equals 3. Feel free to go back and watch this again if you need to. Again, check that key, get that filled in. If you need help, ask us in class. We'll be going over some other parallelograms in the next couple days and finish the back side of this for homework.